it's showing a bunch of stuff that I have not seen yet. So
I know, same. I tried logging in earlier and it sent me to this. Anyways, maybe StreamYard is like, y'all have been gone for so long, but now we're back.
okay, there we go. I was giving out other warning stuff.
We're
What's
back
up, everybody?
Hours. I feel like I forgot how to do this, but we've been away for a little while because self-care and life and all the things, and that is okay because, as we always tell people, take a break. So that's what we're here. That's what we're practicing, what we're preaching. But this is Office Hours, where we provide practical advice to independent artists and show people that there is a way to navigate the music business or the creative industries in ways that feel good to you. If you're new to us, or if you've been with us since the beginning, all 87 episodes, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. If you're here with us live, or in the comments below as you're watching, we would love to know who you are, what kind of music you make, if you're a creative in some other sense. Like, part of why we started this is to create that community atmosphere and to help people connect with one another. So, Stowe, welcome back.
Yeah, well, welcome back, everyone. Honestly, we appreciate you all tuning in. Didn't even realize this, honestly, until I started working on our promo stuff for the day or whatever, but we actually hit 700 subscribers. We're at 701. So thank you all, honestly, for all the support, especially while we've been gone. Android, what's up? Hope all is well. And yeah, we're kind of here to reintroduce ourselves, I guess. We didn't even really realize it until we're doing our retreat and stuff like that, that we've been on this platform for multiple years at this point. And even to where we are now, for some of you, we're new. You don't know who we are. You don't know, our story and stuff like that. So we really just wanted to take an episode before we start kind of kicking things back up into the new year, to kind of tell everybody how we got here and why we do this and why this channel was even created to begin with.
Before we even talk about like how Office Hours came to be, I think still what you said, like, we might be strangers to people. So like, I mean, I could really make it fun and make you introduce me, and then I get to introduce you, but we won't do all that. But like, Stowe, I think you should introduce yourself to folks and tell them about like all the cool things that you've done and that you do and that you work on. And then I'm happy to share too. And then we'll talk about Office Hours. And again, like, if you're joining us, introduce yourselves in the chat, in the comments. Tell us what your like concerns are about the industry, what you struggle with, because we want to hear from you as well. But Stowe, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I will try to make this as quick as I can. I don't know. It's weird because every time we just go back and remember how long we've been doing this. And I've pretty much been a writer since I was little. When I entered high school or whatever, I started writing for the school newspaper, doing album reviews, stuff like that. Once college comes around, I'm doing that on kind of a higher level, writing for, other publications. And, that just kind of evolved from there, Dead End Hip Hop, Blavities, places like that. And throughout that process and working with other artists, I just, and in my peers, just kind of learned and realized that a lot of my peers just didn't realize that, that they're, the audience that they have in college isn't necessarily going to carry out into the real world. And so if you really are wanting to be successful and whatnot, we have to start thinking about that stuff. And so, as I'm writing reviews, I'm studying press releases, I'm studying rollouts and stuff like that. And so, I really from there started writing press releases and just studying the music marketing, or mostly how independent labels were getting their artists out there. And fast forward, I'm done consulting for some of the biggest names in music, and honestly outside of music at this point. And here I
am. Stowe also publishes is like an author, like has a book. There's a lot. And Sandroid says, I struggle with letting myself and my art be seen, which is something we talk a lot about in our perfectionism episode and comes up a lot. And I didn't know that about you. Pottery is my creative outlet. And I think, we talk a lot about music, but a lot of the things that I think we share are applicable irregardless of your creative outlet, because relationship building is relationship building, business strategy is business strategy. So my background is in like community organizing and abolition, peace building work. And it's a long story, but I ended up managing a Liberian hip hop artist. I was the first music manager in Liberia. And that's how I got into music. So I've managed artists for decades, negotiated really big deals, and done a lot of infrastructure building for creatives. I've run labels. I produce a hip hop festival that's now going into its 8th year. I do a lot of consulting for creatives and have worked with a lot of big names in the international space, looking at what organic growth looks like, looking at what entering new markets look like, coming from one country to another. It's not always the same strategy. And so I've helped a lot of artists like enter new markets in that way. I've spoken around the world at conferences. I get taught in universities. Like, it's so crazy. I shouldn't say crazy, but it's so interesting when people email me and are like, I read about you in my class. And I'm like, boom, it's so humbling. But also really exciting to hear that there's new ways of industry and business being taught. And so for more than a decade, I've helped artists build their careers on their own terms. And I've had artists tour the world and make the money that they want to make, be able to leave their day jobs, get the kind of accolades and external recognition that they want. So Stowe and I have been this for a long time. And the way that office hours came to be, story time, is I was speaking at A3C one year. I think that was the year I was like a judge for one of their social justice competitions or something. And I'm like going to these panels, and there was this one panel where they kept asking this guy questions, and he kept saying things. I wish I could remember who it was, because I really would call out his.
Me too.
And I bet you I could go back and find it, but he just kept saying, well, just go to YouTube. And why? If I had to work so hard, why would I just tell you my secret? Bro, you're on a panel. It's literally why you are here. And it was just such a disconnect between how he was sitting and then what people in that room really needed. And it really just frustrated me. And around that same time, Stowe and I had met. We had known of each other. And Stowe was like sharing gems on social media platforms. And I was, just information sharing. And so I reached out to Stowe and was like, I think we should do something. And Stowe said no. And I said, no, but let me convince you. And our, joke about like how I peer pressured him. And, to your point, Sandroid, talking about letting myself be seen, I was so nervous about being on camera that when Stowe and I started, we started on Instagram, and we used to do Instagram Live back before it was saved. Remember when Instagram Live would disappear after 24 hours?
Right.
That's how we started. Was this? It was just kind of this idea. We didn't really have like it fully planned out, but we're kind of like, we have good information and let's just put it out there and see what happens. And my own learning curve was being comfortable with the video disappearing so that I can now get to this point where we're 87 episodes and 700 subscribers in. But that's really why we started office hours. And, we always say, like, this is about the community. So if y'all have questions, please tell us. If there are things you want us to talk about in an episode, please tell us. If there are things that you're struggling with, please tell us, because we want to talk about the things that y'all are dealing with and struggling with, because we want this to be responsive to your needs. So, and hopefully we do better than that guy who was like, you know what it is? When he said, go to YouTube. Yeah, go to YouTube and find office hours, because hopefully we'll be more informative and useful than that guy was. I'm going to go find out who he was.
Yeah, what year was that? That'll tell us everything.
I can't even, it was like before APC became what it is now.
Right. That it still exists. I didn't even know.
I don't know, does it? I don't even check for it anymore. We can talk. They ended up doing some really sketchy things.
Right. Yeah, the whole point of us even doing office hours, again, like it's in line with, Nora's example of just there's so many people out here who are actually getting paid to be on these panels and have these positions and stuff like that, and they're not really giving any advice at all. And so a lot with office hours, it's our goals are kind of multifold, to be honest. It's, obviously in one way it's a way for us to give gems and answer your questions and stuff like that, but it's also a way for all of the creatives and subscribers that are with us to kind of come together as well. Especially now that there are 700 of you. What? Like, I know some of you are producers, songwriters, just creatives in general. And it's just like, if any of you even just poke your heads out, it's just like, who knows what kind of collaborative work can be done here. And so, again, yes, part of office hours is to give as much information as possible and to make sure that, make sure that you get a website and a newsletter and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we're really hoping that this actually becomes a community that does work together, that does collaborate together. And actually, I think if we really got technical and really looked through our subscribers, I think there have been some collabs and stuff like that. And that's before we even start talking about things like Den Music Fest and stuff like that. So, the community aspect is just important as the kind of informative and educational aspect, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Because, for us, like the big picture, right? Like immediately, like Stowe said, we want to provide good information for you. We want y'all to connect and collaborate. We want you to succeed. But like big picture, I want to create a new music industry. I want to create an industry where people feel safe and welcome, and they feel like they can take the risks, and they feel like they are being treated fairly, and they feel like they don't have to compromise their values, or they don't say things like, well, I know he's problematic, but he has so much clout and it's so good for my career. Like, I don't want to hear that bullshit. And so by offering these values-based but effective strategies and tips and creating these networks and systems for y'all, you don't have to participate in the traditional industry. You don't have to say things like, well, that's just how it is, because it doesn't have to be that way. And so like this small kind of thing that we're starting with, for me, and I think, I know Stowe feels the same way too, for us, this is our way of creating something different in the industry so that it can be about the music and the art and your success and people feeling like they don't have to be on guard all the time while they're making music. Because I think it's so sad to have to navigate all those complexities when we could just get rid of them.
Mm-hmm. And like Nora said, it really is. It is about creating a new industry and stuff like that, because of, and it's just, there's examples upon examples of why that's needed these days. And so, our job is slowly but surely, hopefully, getting all of us, all the good people together and whatnot can help us kind of, to create that new industry. And that's, and again, that's at multiple levels. That's why we have so many episodes talking about so many different topics, because there's a lot that needs to change. There's a lot that needs to be done before, before we can, I think, really have this be an industry that's really like at the forefront, versus all this toxicity and bullshit that's currently permeating and infecting our industry.
Which is why I think, like office hours is it's not episodic, right? Like, it's not designed for you to watch episode 1 and episode 2. Like, I really encourage people to mix and match and go back to episodes and find, and this is maybe where we should probably be better at creating playlists, but but it's also why you see episodes about the NBA, or you see episodes about legal cases involving copyright questions, or you see episodes about Real Housewives, or these things that might not seem directly connected, but speak to the larger culture that we're trying to create and support and build. And again, that's why I keep coming back to the interactive aspect of office hours. Like, tell us what you want to see. Tell us what questions you have. Tell us what you're curious about. Tell us what you're struggling with. Like Sandroid shared about letting myself and my art be seen. We'll turn that into an episode. Give us a couple weeks and we'll come back and talk about that if we haven't, which we talk about in small ways, but like we'll put an episode around
Right.
together. We respond to all the comments. We care about like what y'all's needs are. And so, which is how actually office hours came to be. So like, I don't do well in institutional settings, like barely finished my graduate degree, always fought with my professors, but I always thought the idea of like office hours was so cool that people just come and ask you questions. And y'all know I love questions. And so when we were thinking about what this would look like and feel like, I was like, oh, it could be like office hours. People just come and ask us their questions. And then like professors, not to be, we would just answer those questions. And so it's really designed and intended as a learning space. And even if you go back to our earliest like promotional graphics, which was like on Instagram, the little GIFs we were using were like backpacks and notebooks and like,
Right.
really play with this idea of it's okay that you don't know anything. There's no shame in asking the questions. Ask a question and we'll just get a conversation going. So, and lately we've started to bring on more guests, or if there's like people you want to hear from or that you think would make an interesting guest, we really want to hear your feedback, because office hours, again, is for y'all. And we wouldn't be here without you. And it's just honestly, like, it's so fun to see your comments and see you hear it's just more fun. Like Stowe and I are cool. We have a great time by ourselves, but it's just so much more fun when there's more of you here.
Yeah. And like Nora said, it's, there's, chances are the question that you're asking, someone else is also thinking of asking. Like that's almost always the case. And not even just from a, YouTube standpoint, because like I get it, like you see a new channel up, like you're not trying to be in the comments and stuff like that. I get it. You don't want to be the first one in there. We get that. But like 9 times out of 10, the question that you're asking, somebody else is also thinking of asking, whether it's within our little YouTube bubble of 700 subscribers or our entire network on social media. Chances are someone has the exact same question. And like Nora said, it's once we have that, like it just, we can turn make a whole episode out of it, because, me and Nora talk about this all the time. Like a lot of our episodes, we could go on and on and on talking about certain topics. So it's not like anything you're requesting is like, oh geez, like I don't know how we could possibly build an episode around that. Like 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh yeah, like we actually were talking about that beforehand, or we've been thinking about doing an episode on that for a minute, or we didn't even realize that that's something that y'all want. So the more interactive that you all are with us, the easier it is to kind of again make what you all need. It's really not like this channel, like yes, we sure host the show and we're doing the majority of the talking, but like we want you all to have the ideas for the show. We want to be serving you with these episodes, and again, as Nora said, it's like you can if you want to do an 87 episode binge of office hours, like yo, take a picture or something and let us know, because that would be hilarious. But you really can bounce around and check what you need, and we will get playlists done. I have outlines for some. I just need to really pin it down. But yeah.
Stowe, what is one episode that you think everybody should watch that we've done?
One episode that everybody should watch is honestly What Artists Shouldn't Pay For.
That's a good one.
I think is probably one of my favorites. And then there's another one. I think it's in the 30s. I'm going to look while you give your answer real quick.
Yeah. The What Artists Should Never Pay For. That's a good one. Don't spam your links. I also think everybody should watch that one. Do not spam your links. If you think you're being slick, you're not. So if you don't know where to start, if you're new to office hours, go back and check out those episodes. I also want to invite people to connect with me and Stowe on all the other channels. We both have newsletters. We both have Instagram, Blue Sky, LinkedIn. My link tree is full of resources. Stowe is also always sharing resources. We both do one-on-one consulting. So if you hear something on the episode and want to get into the nitty gritty of what it looks like for you, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Stowe. You can reach out to both of us and we'll work together with you. There's only so much we can do in office hours, but hopefully it's a starting point for you to realize where you do need more help or where you might not want to do it alone. And so there's just so many different ways to connect, and we hope you take advantage of at least one of them, which we're so glad you've done by being here and watching 20 minutes of this episode, which I think is kind of like short and sweet. So we'll start to wrap it up.
That spamming links episode is almost at 400 views, and it's our second most watched episode to our first one, which is interesting. The other one I will throw in there is creative content ideas. I think it's like episode 38 or something like that. And I think that's another one that's crossed like 100 views or something like that. That is one of my favorites because we just like came up with a million ideas. Oh my God, my hair. What the fuck? But yeah, honestly, let us know what you want to see. With 87 episodes, geez, we're almost to 100, which is kind of insane to think about. I literally didn't think we'd be making 100 episodes, but I could not be more happy that we have this thing going. So yeah, and let us know what you want us to do for this 100th episode as well, because we haven't even talked about it, to be honest. But if you all have any ideas, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, if you enjoyed what you see, hit the like button. That is the easiest way to support us. It costs $0. It helps us out a ton. Hit the subscribe button. If you've ever found any of our episodes helpful, please share it on your timeline. Share it with a friend or something. That helps us get around to more people. Don't. You can't be over here subscribed to office hours while simultaneously gatekeeping us. That doesn't make sense. So yeah, share it, please. It really helps us out. Hit the subscribe button. If you can spare $1 or so, we've got the Cash App in the description below. Along with all of our links. You can follow us everywhere. Hit us up on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Threads, etc. We both have newsletters. Damn, need to start including that actually in the description. So we're always doing longer form content and stuff like that over there. You're probably going to see this episode actually in one of my newsletters here in the upcoming days. So be on the lookout for that. We're glad to be back. It's actually been really nice, like just kind of getting back into the swing of things. We've already got episodes in the pipeline and stuff like that and whatnot. And so we appreciate you being patient with us. We appreciate you riding with us. Listen, I understand that there's a lot of bigger teams in the NBA, but understand that the Cleveland Cavaliers are the best team in the NBA right now. They're about to go kick ass right now against Orlando. Don't worry. I said it here first. It's time to get another championship without LeBron. Oh, my goodness. I can't wait.
I knew you'd bring it back to the Cavs.
Oh, I had to. Oh, I'm wearing nothing but Cavs gear. Cavs. Even behind me. Like, come on now.
I mean, I'm not mad at a LeBron-less championship. We know how I feel about him. I mean, do we all forget that he pretends to read books? Like, who does that? Anyways. Thank you all. We need to bring back the NBA episodes. Those were fun. I also have a lot of housewives opinions, which also, anyways. Thank you.
Wait. Hold on. Before we go. One thought I thought of earlier was we should do housewife stuff. I'm thinking of calling it Cozy Hours.
See, people want the Housewives episodes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, between Potomac and Salt Lake City and I forgot the one, Beverly Hills, which is what you're watching. Like, Yeah, we will bring back Housewives episodes. They will be. I think we only did one last year. We're definitely going to do more this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about Potomac because I have opinions on how delulu some of them are. But we'll save that for another episode. Thank you all for rocking with us. Thank you for allowing us to do 87 episodes and however many years we've been doing this. Thank you for supporting us, and all the questions and all the comments and all the donations and all the things. There's so much good music in the world, and we just want to help you put it out into the world so more and more people can hear it. Drink some water, take care of yourselves, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.
Peace, everyone. Let's go.